Today we stop for a moment with the description of the Italian regions and take you on a journey to another wonderful country, rich in history and ancient culture, Egypt. Let's go back in time and go to ancient Egypt, a land of extraordinary mysteries where ancient history, myths, and enchanted places intertwine, captivating travelers from all over the world. In this video, we will explore the most emblematic cities, the most spectacular monuments and the deities that dominated Egyptian spirituality, also focusing on some of its lesser-known historical places. Alexandria, the city of Alexander the Great. Let's start with Alexandria, a city founded in 331 before Christ by Alexander the Great, destined to become one of the main cultural centers of the ancient world. Here stood the legendary Library of Alexandria, the greatest center of knowledge of the time, which, according to historical sources, unfortunately incomplete, was destroyed over the centuries by fires and wars. One of the most devastating would seem to have occurred in the 4th century Anno Domini. Next to the library, stood the Lighthouse of Alexandria, considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Today, the Fort of Qaitbay stands right where the lighthouse once dominated, offering a suggestive spectacle and a dive into the past. The Montaza Gardens are another unmissable destination, immersed in a calm and Mediterranean atmosphere. These gardens welcome you to savor the unique beauty of Alexandria. Cairo and Saladin Citadel. From the ancient charm of Alexandria we move to the capital, Cairo, a lively metropolis where history and modernity blend in a fascinating way, creating an atmosphere unique in the world. A short distance from the city center is the Giza Plateau, one of the most iconic archaeological sites on the planet, where the imposing pyramids and the majestic Sphinx bear witness to the greatness of the 4 dynasty. The Pyramid of Cheops, the largest of the 3 and the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world still standing, is a masterpiece of engineering and a symbol of the divine power of the pharaohs. Next to it are the Pyramid of Khafre, with its top still covered in limestone, and that of Menkaure, smaller but no less significant. The Sphinx, with its enigmatic gaze turned towards the desert, is one of the oldest and most mysterious statues, probably built for Khafre, and contains a series of legends and unsolved mysteries. Cairo, in addition to Giza, is rich in historical evidence ranging from the pharaonic to Islamic eras. In the heart of the city stands the Saladin Citadel, also known as the Cairo Citadel, a historic fortress built by Sultan Salah ad-Din in 1176 to protect the city from attacks by the Crusaders. Situated on a hill overlooking Cairo, the citadel offers spectacular views of the city and the Nile River. Also inside are the Al-Nasir Muhammad Mosque, the Suleiman Pasha Mosque, the Police Museum and the National Military Museum, which tell the story of the defense of Cairo throughout the centuries. The Saladin Citadel is not only an important testimony to medieval military architecture, but also a symbol of Islamic and Ottoman history in Egypt, a place where visitors can immerse themselves in history and admire one of the most suggestive panoramic views of Cairo, especially at sunset. In addition to the citadel, another unmissable stop is, for example, Coptic Cairo, the Christian heart of the city, is one of the oldest areas of Cairo, rich in history and spirituality, and represents an important testimony of the Christian presence in Egypt since the early centuries. Among its main monuments, the Hanging Church, also called Al-Malaka, stands out, whose architecture and history make it unique in its kind. It is nicknamed Suspended because it was built in the 3rd century above one of the gates of the Roman fortress of Babylon, erected by the Romans to protect the city and strategically positioned along the Nile. In addition to the Hanging Church, Coptic Cairo is home to other places of worship of great historical importance, such as the Church of St. Sergius and Bacchus, where it is said that the Holy Family found refuge during the flight into Egypt. For those who want to immerse themselves in Oriental atmospheres, an unmissable stop is the Khan el-Khalili Bazaar, one of the oldest and liveliest markets in Cairo, founded in the 14th century during the Mamluk dynasty. Walking through its narrow cobbled streets, you are surrounded by a kaleidoscope of colors, sounds and scents, incense, spices and richly embroidered fabrics, silver jewelry, antiques and handcrafted souvenirs. Here, among historic shops and artisans' workshops, you can breathe in the authentic life of Cairo, and every corner tells a story, making Khan el-Khalili an experience that mixes tradition and Oriental magic, especially in the evening, when the lanterns illuminate the bazaar with a golden and evocative light. Luxor, ancient Thebes. Continuing south, we arrive in Luxor, the ancient Egyptian capital known as Thebes. Here we find the majestic Temple of Karnak, dedicated to the god Amun-Ra, a supreme deity linked to the sun and creation, protector of the city in the pharaohs. The temple is famous for its imposing columns and reliefs that narrate the exploits of the sovereigns. Not far away, the Valley of the Kings houses the tombs of the pharaohs of the 18th and 19th dynasties, including Ramses II and Tutankhamun. Each tomb, richly decorated, was a symbolic journey towards eternity. Another lesser-known but equally fascinating site in Luxor is the Temple of Medinet Habu, located on the west bank of the Nile in Luxor, is one of the most fascinating and well-preserved temple complexes of ancient Egypt. Built for the pharaoh Ramses III in the 12th century before Christ, the temple celebrates his military victories and presents him as a great ruler and protector of Egypt. Medinet Habu is famous for its imposing walls and detailed sculpted reliefs depicting battle scenes, religious ceremonies and daily life. Among the artistic masterpieces, the depictions of the victories of Ramses III over the Sea Peoples are particularly impressive. The solemn atmosphere and the decorations still in excellent condition make Medinet Habu an evocative stop, immersed in the history and charm of Egyptian civilization. Aswan and the treasures of the Nile. Continuing our journey, we arrive in Aswan, a city closely linked to the Nile and a meeting point between cultures and trade. On Elephantine Island, the god Khnum, protector of the river waters, was worshipped. A short distance away is the famous Temple of Abu Simbel, commissioned by Ramses II and moved in the 1960s to save it from the waters of Lake Nasser. Aswan is also home to the Monastery of Saint Simeon, an ancient Christian site immersed in the desert that offers a glimpse into the history of Christianity in Egypt. The cult of Akhenaton and the mysteries of the desert. Among the most fascinating curiosities, we find the attempt of Akhenaton, pharaoh of the 18th dynasty, to impose the monotheistic cult of the god Aten, symbolized by the solar disk. This attempt at religious revolution, which challenged the consolidated power of the priests, was quickly abandoned after his death, but the figure of Akhenaton remains one of the most intriguing. Another must-see is the Temple of Dendera, dedicated to the goddess Hathor, where one of the oldest ceilings in the world depicts the Egyptian zodiac, revealing the intertwining of astronomy and religion in ancient Egypt. Finally, the Egyptian desert holds pre-pharaonic rock carvings, evidence of the ancient nomadic populations that crossed these lands millennia ago. We conclude this journey by asking ourselves, how many secrets are still hidden under the Egyptian sand? Perhaps the next temple or treasure is just waiting to be brought to light. If you also want to continue discovering the wonders of the world, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to stay up to date.